Here are some skills caregivers can use to help their traumatized children learn good behavior without becoming triggered. Another very important tool in our tool belt is praise. In order to maintain that relationship equity we talked about, caregivers need to give positives at a minimum of a 5-to-1 ratio to negatives. And praise is free. Praise should be specific. Good job isn't as good as, I really love how nice you're being to your sister. It's important to notice behaviors you want replicated and praise them. Find excuses to praise. Because if you're cooking dinner and they're being good, it's really easy to just do nothing. But you've missed a huge opportunity there. It's also important to praise the process, not the outcome. So if kids tried to do the right thing and weren't successful, they still deserve praise for that. If a behavior correction is necessary, it's important to praise as soon as the child fixes their behavior or does something positive. That begins the repair process to maintain that relationship. Also, bribing kids to behave doesn't work, but surprising them with a treat or reward when they do good things is extremely effective in replicating the behavior. Random rewards are just very reinforcing in our human brains. I am not naive, and traumatized children are some of the most behaviorally challenging. Sometimes a behavior correction is necessary. But before imposing a negative consequence or punishment, there are a few things that caregivers should try first. If there's another kid around who is behaving themselves, praise them instead of correcting the child who's being naughty. If there aren't any other kids around, or everyone's being naughty, you can use what's called positive opposites, where you say, "Gosh, I really love when you guys are quiet," when they're being really loud. Try redirecting the child into a different behavior, or maybe just get them to do a positive activity. Especially in younger children, the function of bad behavior can be to get attention, and they don't care if it's positive or negative. So ignoring can be a very powerful tool in changing behavior. Of course, ignoring isn't an option if the behavior is harming others or destroying property. Empathy is not inherent. So teaching or building empathy can prevent recidivism of behavior that harms others. Pointing out the natural consequences of behavior, or even facilitating them a little, is always a good option for bad behavior. For instance, when a child chooses to lie, they choose to have their caregiver not trust them as much in the future. Pointing that out can be a really effective way of deterring lying. Another example is having to make amends or fix whatever they broke. If they broke a relationship, they have to find a way to fix it. If they broke an object, they have to find a way to fix it or replace it. Whatever it is that they did, there will be plenty of natural consequences that flow from it. Natural consequences can also be things like, well, we can't go to Lagoon this weekend because I can't trust you to follow my instructions. And it's not safe for us to go places if you're not following my instructions. If a behavior isn't hurting someone else, doesn't have its own natural consequences, and the child can't be ignored or redirected or praised out of it, caregivers should really ask themselves if it absolutely must be addressed. If so, then a punishment like isolation or grounding, withdrawal of unrelated privileges can be imposed, but parents should know it's just not a very effective way of changing behavior. When parents are correcting behavior, you'll need to teach them to use low and slow, to use reflective listening, to express empathy, and if they stop being calm, they need to abort mission and try again later. Because when little people are overwhelmed by big emotions, it is our job to share our calm, not join their chaos.